Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to the Breslov Research Weekly Shir. This coming Shabbos is Matos-Masei. It's a combined Parsha. It's actually the longest Torah reading of the year, 244 verses. And the Parshas are connected. Matos starts off with the laws of vows. Laws of vows, how a person takes an oath, and how it binds him. And Reb Nosson explains that this is one of the biggest chidushim in the Torah. Why? Because there's a law you're not allowed to eat chazer, pork. There's a law you have to put on tefillin. There's a law that you have to be honest, you're not allowed to tell a lie, and so on. A neder, an oath, is something completely different. It's you are accepting upon yourself an oath to say, well, I want to abstain a little bit, so I'm not going to eat any fruits, or something like that, whatever it may be. Or I'm going to study X amount of Mishnah, whatever it might be. Once you say it as an oath, then that oath that you took has the same law as not eating pork or as putting on tefillin, and so on and so forth. Amazing, huh? It has the same applicable laws as if it is a new mitzvah of the Torah, so that you could take upon yourself things and you can make it a law of Torah. You're adding to the Torah. Now, the Gemara doesn't support taking oaths. Gemara says that a person should be very careful because the pasuk says, "Elokim b'shamayim v'alto ala haaretz." It's in Koheles. It says, "Hashem is in heaven and you are on earth." And v'alkei yudvarecha ma'atim. Keep your words short. Be very careful with an oath, right? Pasuk says, "Tov asher lo tidor, v'she tidor v'lo teshalem." Better you should not take an oath than you make an oath and you don't fulfill it. So you have to be very careful. But the concept of it is, as the Gemara says, "Lizruzei nafshei," to make yourself, kind of force yourself to do something. I'm going to give $100 for tzedakah. Someone can take an oath like that. Not only do you get the mitzvah of $100 for tzedakah, you also get the mitzvah of fulfilling your oath. So you have to be very careful, but you have to know when to use it and how to use it. It's like a lot of things. Better, as Chazal teach us, don't be so free with your words. Don't just promise, do, whatever. No, be very careful. But if you do it, then fulfill it. Keep your word. Keep your word. That's what the Torah tells us. That's a general an idea of the laws of oaths. The Parsha then continues, Matos continues with the war against Midian. Midianite women made themselves harlots to seduce the Jewish men, as we had in Parshas Bolak, the end of Parshas Bolak, and Pinchas, beginning of Pinchas. So what happened was that they were a sinful nation, and they caused the Jews much damage. They caused them to sin. So Moshe Rabbeinu told them to go out and do battle, and they did. And they vanquished Midian, and they took booty. And the Parsha tells us about the battle, and that they killed Bilam, and that they were able to take different ideas, different items from the Midianites, and they were able to purify them, and they were able to divide the spoils of war. Following that, Parsha speaks about the conquest of the east bank of the Jordan, where the tribes of Gad, the southern, Reuven, the middle, the other way around. Reuven was the south, Gad was the middle, and Manasseh, half of Manasseh was the north. And they took over the east bank of the Jordan, the lands of Sihon and Og, and they settled them. They settled there. And they took an oath that was in part of the Parsha. Moshe Rabbeinu said to them, hey, why do you want to stay on the east bank? Why don't you want to cross into the west bank? And they answered, well, we have a lot of cattle, we have a lot of sheep, it's a lot of grazing land, so we'd like to stay there. Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid that they would convince the rest of the Jews not to enter the land. He said that happened already 40 years ago. The spies kept the Jews out of the land. Is that your intention? They answered Moshe Rabbeinu, definitely not. Well, we will go. Not only that, we will lead the battle. Battles that took place in the land, tribes of Reuven, Gad, and Manasseh, they led the battles against the people, against the dwellers of the land. And they took over their portions, right? And this is how the Jews began the conquest of Israel. Now, according to the Gemara, the land of the east bank of the Jordan had the sanctity of the west bank, of the sanctity of what we know today as the land of Israel. It had that sanctity with it too. And the Jews were able to bring all their trumos and maasros, their tithes, and their whatever it is that they had to bring. It had the same law. And the Jews were very observant at the time. In the book of Yehoshua, at the towards the end, chapter 22, you find that after the conquest of the land, these three tribes, these 2.5 tribes, they built an altar, and the 9.5 tribes were suspicious that maybe it's meant to keep them separate, or maybe it's for idolatry. And the book of Yehoshua teaches us that they built it because they wanted to show that it's solidarity with the 9.5 tribes. So the 2.5 tribes and the 9.5 tribes were united. Not like today where we have everyone fighting each other. Rahman al may Hashem spare us, because that's the worst thing for Klal Yisrael, to separate themselves one from the other. And instead, we have a left, we have a right, we have a center, we have center right, we have center left, we have any kind of combination just to make strife and arguments against the other. Hashem should spare us all. This was an act of unity to bring Klal Yisrael together. We shift now to Parshas Masei, and Masei starts off with the 42 encampments that the Jews had in the desert. The 42 encampments represent the name of Hashem of 42, and that's really a new beginning, a creation, because the Mem Beis stands for Ma'aseh Bereshit, the creation of the world, right? And it was something brand new. Everything. Rav Nosson says an amazing thing. He says that when you think of it, the Jews traveled in the desert. What is the big deal? So they traveled. They went from here to there, from there to here, whatever. What's the big deal? Rav Nosson says the travel of a Jew could become Torah too. The travels are mentioned in the Torah because a Jew travels, it's also a mitzvah. There are also things that are accomplished. Someone makes a bracha, someone puts on tefillin, Shabbos, right? The different things that we do as we travel around, this could become Torah too. It's an amazing chiddush, an amazing novel approach to our lives. We're all traveling. We're always traveling. Get in the car, you go on the bus, get on a plane, go on a ship. We're always moving around. What is it? That's my life? No, I'm making Torah. I am making a connection to Hashem if I do it right. If I do it right. Rabbi Nachman teaches in Rabbi Nachman's wisdom, he says that wherever a Jew goes, he rectifies something. Either he says a blessing, or he eats kosher food, or whatever it may be that he does in that other place, that makes Torah. That makes a rectification in the world. So we have a tremendous power to be able to go out and do things. Torah then starts talking about the borders. It talks about the borders of the land. And Nosson also says this is to tell us how great and how important every inch of land in Israel is. I remember my father-in-law, Oliver Sholem, or T.I. Rosenfeld, right? He used to talk to us about Eretz Israel. He says, just imagine, every pebble, every blade of grass is holy because it's in Eretz Israel, right? And the Kedusha, the Torah tells us the borders to know where the Kedusha is confined so that we can partake of that Kedusha. So that's the part. And then the Torah tells us of the tribal leaders who are appointed to divide the land. And the last two parts of the Parsha speak about cities of refuge. Cities of refuge. In other words, if someone accidentally kills somebody, manslaughter it's called, right? Person accidentally, he's chopping wood and the handle of the axe slips, the head of the axe slips off and it kills someone. It's an accident, complete accident, manslaughter, right? The person has to go into exile into one of the cities of refuge. So that's a whole chapter 35 in Bamidbar. And Reb Nosson says, he brings the Zohar. The Zohar teaches which are the cities of refuge today. The Zohar answers there were 6 cities. Those 6 cities are the Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. 6 words. They are our refuge today. Today, we have the ability to turn to Hashem always, no matter what happens in our life, and proclaim Hashem. It's our declaration of faith that we believe in Hashem. That's our refuge today. And the last chapter speaks about the daughters of Tzlavchad who married. They were supposed to marry members of their own tribe to keep the Yerusha, the inheritance of the land, within their portion. So anyway, this is the Parshas of Matos-Masei, and it comes out always. Matos-Masei is always in 3 weeks. It's always within some time. Again, as Rav Nosson, we mentioned it last week in Pinchas, that Rav Nosson writes that it's talking about the land of Israel. It's talking about our refuge. We have a refuge in Hashem. We have a refuge in the land. And the land is ours. And the land belongs to the Jewish nation. And we have to just accept it. And we have to turn to it and understand that 3 weeks are 3 weeks of mourning. They're very, very difficult weeks. Right? The Zohar talks about not doing anything Nothing overly too much. Don't do anything too much ostentatious. That's the word. Don't do anything overly ostentatious. It's a time of mourning. It's a time when we have to sit back and hold ourselves in mourning and realize that we're mourning for the temple. Realize that we're mourning for the Jews all over the world. Realize that we're mourning for the Torah and for the Jewish nation to survive. And we're mourning for our lack of all Israel being in Eretz Israel. We have to realize that and understand that these 3 weeks we have to really take it to heart. Nelson said about himself that he could never, ever kind of let out all his bitterness about what's going on in life except during the 3 weeks, because it's a time for us to take stock. And if we take stock, then we will merit to the coming of Mashiach, the building of the Beis HaMikdash. Amen. Amen. We want to thank you all for watching these videos. We hope it's helped you, the ideas of Rabbi Nachman, Rabbi Nosson, and it will enhance your Shabbos. You'll have something extra to talk about. We hope you'll be able to share these ideas with other people too. And with that, we're going to see wonders upon wonders, how people's lives improve, and we have real reason to live, go forward with life, and to succeed in having a wonderful life. Amen.